When the storm comes, the mountains wake up. 3 ski resort horror stories. It was supposed to be the best run of our trip. The sky was a clear winter blue when we reached the ridge. The snow sparkled under the early morning sun, untouched except for the faint tracks left by the ski patrol. From up there, we could see everything: the surrounding peaks, the quiet resort far below, and the endless white stretching in every direction. Adam, full of confidence as usual, slapped the snow off his board and said, "Perfect day. Let's hit the back ridge later." But almost as soon as he said it, the wind changed. A low, hollow howl rolled through the mountains, echoing strangely between the cliffs. Marcus looked up first. "Guys, is that fog coming from the top of the mountain?" It didn't make sense. Fog usually formed in the valley first. Yet here it was, a thick, gray sheet sliding down the slopes like a slow avalanche. The sun dimmed. The temperature dropped sharply enough that we could see our breath expand in front of us. Chloe tightened her goggles. "This isn't normal. We should go back." But Adam shook his head. "Come on. Weather changes fast here. We'll be fine." Within seconds, the fog swallowed the peak and began descending toward us. Fog changes everything. The moment it reached us, the mountain vanished. 1 second we were surrounded by open sky. The next, it felt like we were standing inside a blank white room with no walls. Our boards scraped forward cautiously, every movement slower than usual. We had no sense of direction. Even sound behaved strangely. Our voices felt muffled, swallowed by the whiteness. "Stay close," I said, but we couldn't even see each other unless we were within arm's reach. Chloe suddenly grabbed my sleeve. "I can't see Adam." Marcus turned in a slow circle, boards sinking into the soft snow. "Where's the trail? It should be right under us." But the fog played tricks on depth and distance. We might have been 10 meters from the trail, or 100. No one knew. Then Marcus pointed into the gray void. "I saw something, I think. A light over there." Adam's voice drifted toward us from somewhere unseen. "It's probably the training cabin near the tree line. They rebuilt it." We followed the faint glow Marcus saw, if it even existed, because we had no other choice. The fog shifted just enough for us to glimpse it. A faint yellow light, warm and soft, bleeding through the gray. As we approached, the outline of a small wooden cabin materialized between the snow-covered trees, like something surfacing from underwater. It looked old, too old to have been rebuilt recently. Snow clung thickly to the roof, icicles hanging like teeth. Chloe frowned. "The staff said the old training hut was destroyed in that avalanche years ago. They never repaired it." Adam shrugged, though his voice was less confident. "Maybe they were wrong, but something felt off. The angle of the roof, the slant of the door, the weathered boards. It all looked abandoned. And yet, the warm glow inside suggested someone was there. Too warm, too alive. Despite the cold, a bead of sweat rolled down my neck. The door wasn't just unlocked, it was cracked open, as if someone had left in a hurry or was expecting us. A wave of warmth hit us immediately. Not just mild heat, comfortable warmth, like a cabin with a wood stove burning steadily for hours. But there was no stove, no heater, no firewood, nothing that could have produced such heat. On the wall hung ski jackets dripping melted ice, forming small puddles beneath them. The drops were steady and recent. Someone had been inside moments before. "I don't like this," Chloe whispered. The air felt heavy, thick, almost humid, which made no sense in a cabin with no heat source. Marcus crouched near the puddle. "This isn't old water. Someone was here really recently." Adam stepped deeper into the cabin. "Hello, anyone here?" That's when we heard it. Breathing. Slow, steady breathing, coming from the back room, just behind a thin curtain, swaying slightly with each exhale. The breathing was unmistakably human. Not panicked, not tired, just waiting. Adam took a few cautious steps toward the curtain. We followed reluctantly, hearts pounding against our ribs. The curtain moved, not from wind, but in rhythm, like someone was standing directly behind it, barely a foot away. "Sir," Adam called. "Are you injured?" We got lost in the fog, and breathing stopped, all at once, as if whoever, or whatever, was behind the curtain suddenly realized we were too close. A thick silence fell over the room. Marcus whispered, "Adam, don't touch it." But Adam reached out anyway. Before Adam's fingers brushed the fabric, the air inside the cabin shifted. The warm glow flickered, shadows stretching unnaturally across the walls. And then the whisper came. Not from behind the curtain, not from outside, not from any single direction. It came from everywhere. A deep, layered whisper, as if multiple voices were speaking at once. "Get out." The walls seemed to pulse with the sound. The floor vibrated beneath our boots. The temperature dropped so fast, the warm air turned into visible fog in front of our mouths. Chloe screamed. Marcus grabbed my arm. Adam stumbled backward, and that was all it took. We bolted for the door. We burst outside into the cold, gasping for air. The fog had lifted slightly, just enough to see the trees again. But the cabin, the warm, glowing cabin, was gone. In its place lay a collapsed ruin. Rotted logs, shattered beams, half buried under snow, exactly like the photos of the avalanche wreckage we had seen in the ski lodge last year. Chloe froze. Our footprints, they lead into the snow. And she was right. Where the cabin door had been, our tracks walked straight into empty space. The realization hit us all at once. We hadn't entered a building. We had walked into something that wanted to look like one. Back at the resort, shivering and pale, we told the ski patrol everything. They didn't interrupt. They didn't laugh. They didn't question our sanity. Instead, one of the older patrollers pulled up an old photo on his tablet. It showed the same cabin, or what used to be it, crushed by 12 feet of snow. "That cabin collapsed 10 winters ago," he said flatly. "No one's used that trail since. No one should have been up there, and no structure should have been standing." We sat in stunned silence. The patroller leaned in. "Whatever you walked into today, it wasn't a cabin." The wind was already picking up when we stepped onto the cable car platform. The chairs moved slower than usual, creaking softly as they passed overhead. Below us, the slopes were still crowded, but higher up the mountain, the fog swallowed everything. A ski patrol worker hesitated before letting us on. "You sure you want to go up now?" he asked. "The weather's turning fast." We nodded anyway. It was our last run of the day. The safety bar came down with a dull metallic click. As the cabin lifted off the ground, the noise of the resort faded, replaced by wind and the low hum of the cable. As the cable car climbed higher, the ground disappeared. The slopes dissolved into gray nothingness beneath our feet. Emma leaned forward, squinting into the fog. "I don't like this," she said quietly. The chairs ahead of us vanished one by one into the cloud. The ones behind us were already gone. For a moment, it felt like we were the only people left on the mountain, suspended in midair, surrounded by silence. Then Liam pointed downward. "Do you see that?" At first, I thought it was a shadow, just a trick of the fog shifting beneath us. But then it moved, directly below the next chair up the line. Something dark hung in the air, not falling, not rising, hanging. The fog thinned for half a second, just long enough for us to see legs, human legs. They swayed gently with the motion of the cable. Our chair kept moving forward, slowly, too slowly. The distance between us and the hanging figure closed inch by inch. Emma covered her mouth. That's a person. The boots were wrong. Not ski boots, work boots, heavy, worn. His jacket flapped weakly in the wind, and one arm twitched, not swinging, but tightening, like he was holding on. Just as we were about to pass him, the man lifted his head. His face was pale, not frozen, not blue, just empty. His eyes opened, and he looked straight at us, not pleading, not panicked, aware. His lips moved, but the wind swallowed the sound. Then he smiled. Our chair passed him. The moment we looked back, he was gone. No falling body, no movement, no sound. Just empty fog beneath the cable. Liam shouted for help. The wind carried nothing back. The chairlift continued upward as if nothing had happened. At the top station, we ran to the lift operator. There was a man hanging under the chair, I said, right below the cable. The operator didn't look surprised. He slowly shut down the lift. Then he said, "You're not the first ones to see him. A decade ago, a maintenance worker fell during a storm like this. The cable never stopped fast enough. They never found his body. Some nights, when the fog rolls in, people still see him, hanging beneath the line, waiting for someone to notice, waiting for the lift to stop." The resort was supposed to close the upper slopes at sunset. That's what the signs said. That's what the announcements repeated over the loudspeakers. But the weather was perfect. Clear sky, fresh snowfall, no wind. Too perfect to waste. Ethan was the first to suggest it. "One last run," he said. "Just down the old black slope. No lifts, straight shot." Noah hesitated. "That trail's been closed for years." "Because of avalanches," Ethan replied. "But look around, nothing's moving." I should have listened to Noah. The mountain felt quiet, not peaceful, empty. We ducked under the rope and pushed off just as the last lift shut down behind us. Halfway down, Noah stopped abruptly. "Do you see that? Fresh ski tracks cut across the slope, clean, sharp, too fresh. They hadn't been there earlier. We would have seen them from the lift." "What idiot comes down here after closing?" Ethan muttered. I crouched to inspect them. The edges were crisp. Snow hadn't settled yet. Someone had passed through minutes ago, but the tracks didn't continue downhill. They curved and started going up. We stood there longer than we should have. No one spoke. Skiing uphill wasn't impossible, but not like this. Not without skins. Not on a slope this steep. And there were no pole marks, just skis. Ethan laughed nervously. Probably patrol. Noah shook his head. They'd leave marks, radios, something. Against our better judgment, we followed the tracks. Every meter uphill felt wrong, like the mountain itself was pushing back. The air grew colder and quieter. We found him near a tree line. At first, I thought it was equipment. Then I saw the boots. A man lay half buried in snow, twisted unnaturally. His skis were still clipped on. His eyes were open, frozen, solid. No tracks led away from him. Only the ones that brought us there. Ethan backed away immediately. He didn't ski up here," Noah whispered. "So how did he get here?" I turned on my radio. Static crackled, then a voice cut through. "Lost contact, upper slope." The voice paused, then continued. "He was moving uphill." The transmission ended. Noah stared at me. "They know." Ethan looked at the body again. "That's not how he died," he said. That's when the tracks shifted. They no longer looked like ski tracks. The edges blurred, the grooves deepened, as if something heavier had started dragging skis uphill. Slowly, deliberately, and then a second set appeared, leading away. Ski Patrol found us an hour later. They didn't ask many questions. One of them finally spoke. "It happens sometimes," he said. "When people die alone up here, tracks don't stop," Noah said. The patroller met his eyes. "They don't always go down." The next morning, the slope was smooth. No tracks, no body, only one sign remained, freshly placed, "Closed, do not enter." I still ski, but when I see tracks going uphill, I stop.